you're going to say in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that the connective tissue guy was Nick Fury, you'd be absolutely right. And because Nick Fury never until Secret Invasion, which was terrible, and we try not to talk about it around here, but was never the front and center main guy. But he was always that guy that was there, that kind of connected everything together. It kind of seems like maybe they're transitioning that to Wong, maybe being that connective piece of tissue. And it's going to be interesting to see what that connective piece of tissue is going to be in the DC universe. But when we go back to the Netflix era of the Daredevil shows and that Daredevil universe, I don't think you can debate the fact that the connective tissue character throughout all of those was Night Nurse. It was Rosario Dawson, who popped up in just about all of the shows and always had a relevant part to play. Even, sometimes it was bigger, sometimes it was smaller, and all that kind of stuff. Well, as the MCU has now taken that Daredevil universe into its bosom and has brought it into the family. Of course, we've had, Daredevil, Kingpin has shown up. We've had Punisher return, and we're going to see others. There is now a report going around that's saying Rosario Dawson and her character Night Nurse is going to be the newest character from that Netflix era that is coming officially into the MCU. The good folks over at Geek Tyrant wrote the following. They said, according to insider Daniel Rickman, who many times scoops things that are right, sometimes that are wrong, so you got to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, but still. According to insider Daniel Rickman, Rosario Dawson is expected to reprise her role as Claire Temple, better known to fans as the MCU's Night Nurse. Dawson first appeared as Claire in Daredevil Season 1, where she famously patched up Matt Murdock after his brutal encounters as Hell's Kitchen's masked vigilante. From there, the character became the connective tissue of the entire Netflix lineup, popping up across Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and of course, Iron Fist. Now, whenever we get reports like this, there are usually two questions I ask. Question number one is, what is the likelihood of this being real? And then the second question I ask is, assume that it is real for a moment. If it is real, how do I feel about it? Okay, question number one. Do I think it's real? I'm a little bit dubious about it, just a little bit dubious about it, because Spider-Man Brand New Day has finished shooting. At least all of its principal photography. It's finished shooting. And we heard nothing. Like, while we saw Mark Ruffalo and John Bernthal and a cascade of other cast, we never heard anything about Rosario Dawson, Night Nurse, Claire, whatever, being in the movie. Now, the counter to that argument is the fact that, well, John, until that Steve Rogers Avengers trailer leaked, there were no reports about Steve Rogers being in. I mean, there were rumors, of course, but there were no real big, reports saying that he was in it either. And that's a fair point. So look, Rosario Dawson is awesome. The character is great. She was the connective tissue character of the Netflix Marvel universe. You are bringing them all over anyway. And don't forget, Rosario Dawson is very established in the Disney family. She's Ahsoka. So there's a lot to believe here. I'm just going to say I'm going to take the believability of this with a small grain of salt, just because I find it not super likely that they would have gone through the entire production and have us not hear that somebody as big as Rosario Dawson was in it. Again, there have been examples where that has happened, of course. So I'm going to put this under a maybe. I'm going to put it under a maybe. Maybe this is true. There's a possibility it could be true. All right, let's go on to the second question now. And the second question, after we get beyond do we believe it or not, which I'm saying I'm a firm maybe on it, is assuming that it's true, is it a good idea? And the answer to that is obviously it's a great idea. Of course it's a wonderful idea. I mean, why not? She is in and of herself amazing. The character is really good. Not to mention, your universe always needs, for your universe to be really fleshed out and play well, you need to have a good catalog of these characters that you can bring in to fulfill really good narrative plot points that need to happen, and then move them out. They never have to steal the show or all that kind of stuff, whatever. And she is just already connected to all the different characters in the Netflix version of that they're bringing over. It just seems it would make really good sense. And not to mention that Rosario Dawson is just awesome. She's just awesome. I have had a not so low-key celebrity crush on Rosario Dawson. Well, she was never my Hollywood crush. Okay. She was never my Hollywood crush. But when she was in Clerks 2, her character in Clerks 2 was like if scientists built in a lab, the ideal perfect dream girl for every high school dude, Rosario Dawson in Clerks 2 is it. She's like the perfect woman in that. And so I've loved her since that. But of course, she's a bunch of other things, Sin City and whatnot, but she did almost the impossible. Rosario Dawson accomplished almost the impossible to me. She made me actually start to care a little bit about and even start to like the Ahsoka Tano character, who I believe is a true waste of space in the Star Wars universe. And is just for some reason, that thing in Mean Girls where she's trying to say fetch, stop trying to make fetch a thing. I just feel like Dave Filoni just is like unhealthily obsessed with this one character and just tries to force Ahsoka on everything, everywhere, all the time. And it's always irritated me. But then Rosario Dawson started to play the character. Well, no, let me back up. I think Ahsoka in Rebels, the iteration of Ahsoka in Rebels started to warm me up to Ahsoka a little bit in Rebels. But it was when Rosario Dawson popped up in that season of The Mandalorian as Ahsoka that I went, this iteration of Ahsoka is actually kind of working for me. Like, so Rosario Dawson was able to do almost the impossible, which is actually make me care a little bit about Ahsoka. It's unfortunate that season 1 of the Ahsoka show was not very good. It wasn't hot garbage, but it wasn't very good. But whatever. I'll tune into season 2 just because Rosario Dawson is playing Ahsoka. So is this thing real? Maybe. I mean, there's some good arguments for it. There's some things that should give you some pause. But if it is real, I like it. I think it makes sense narratively. I think it serves the universe that they're doing. And I think it would serve the fan base because Rosario Dawson's awesome. And it never is a bad idea to add talent. So that's kind of my take on it. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this report that Rosario Dawson's Claire, the Night Witch, is going to actually now come into the MCU and is going to make her debut in Spider-Man Brand New Day? Do you believe it? What are the good reasons to believe it? What are the reasons not to believe it? But regardless of that, just assume it's real. How would you feel about it? Jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.